Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today, guys, we're going to be jumping down into the world of ADA, taking a look at what has been going on most recently with the price action and what we think is likely to occur next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out, guys. Linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? And yeah, with all that said, let's get a start and make a start right in here on Cardano. So Cardano paired up with USDT on the hourly chart, and Binance is our data source. And kind of following on from kind of what we're talking about a while back now, actually, but it's still relevant because all we're doing here is this corrective action, in my opinion, to the upside. Now, the higher this goes, the better, I guess it is, I think, in that we will not have the lows coming down lower than we were previously around the 23-cent level. Of course, it's always possible that we do finish this structure off and we do revisit and come right back down into our accumulation zone as we had it mapped out at 19.64 to 22.89. So it's still on the horizon here. It's still a potential. You can kind of see here it's a big kind of three-wave structure, and this is just corrective in the way that it's going down. Now, I likened this as being a double zigzag pattern up here. So actually, we might not think of it as a big ABC like this, but more maybe W, X, Y, X, Z. It's probably a better fitting way of looking at it. So, for example, if we start thinking about this structure here, it would be W, X, Y, X, and then Z. So that Z wave doesn't really have to come down massively, but it would be interesting to kind of see where it does land. Alternatively, of course, we actually don't have that, and it's just W, X, Y. And then we can move on up. So, we have moved up quite nicely here on ADA. It's good to see, but there's more to be done, in my opinion. So let's talk about where we are right now. So when we kind of take a look at this structure right up here, we can see that we are in this kind of corrective move. And what's interesting is taking a look at it from a slightly different perspective. If we take this high up here and we take this low down here, let me just readjust that onto the wick high. Come on, right there we go. Okay, we move this over to our low over here, which comes in at the 32.37. Then we can see that we're aiming for about 39.07 on a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, and that would basically be a three-wave structure from this low over here up to here is in our first wave. We have the corrections that you can kind of see here, the resets, and then a move upwards. We are right up in that zone. Now you can see there's actually a slightly higher push. No, I don't need to draw that. I'll take this one that we have over here, repurpose it, and put it right on there. You can see the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. Okay, so basically 39.07 to 40.85. That there would be the kind of range that we would be thinking about. So that would be the area where we think that we might top out in, should the worst come to the worst, right? So I'll go ahead and remove the fibs off there so we can kind of see that this yellow box area is an area that we'll be thinking about. Now, the current structure right here is interesting me just a little bit. We can see that we are still riding the 50 EMA, but it's an hourly chart, so the 50 and the 200 on the hourly, you can't really look at them and think there's going to be a long-term trend there. But we are finding support here at the moment, so we'll kind of reflect on that and see how that kind of goes. The structure is corrective down, that looks okay, so I imagine we're going to come back up, but I wouldn't expect us to peak up above this area just here just yet. I think that Bitcoin's going to have a bit of a correction on its hourly chart, and therefore I do think that ADA will follow suit and also correct on down. So I'm not thinking there's going to be terribly too much to it, so I'm not expecting us to go up higher than 38.72, but I'll leave it there just so you can kind of see it as a reference point. The way that I see this at the moment is we've come down in one wave, we've got to go up into another, we've probably got to go up higher. There's a little bit of resistance right up here. You can kind of see it quite a bit with all these wicks, loads of selling pressure right up here. The people are not really wanting to back ADA's moves at the moment. This looks corrective, so I would say that we're probably going to come right back up into that area of resistance there and then come on down like this. I think our main area of resistance really comes in right around here. And I'll draw this out just like so. So that would be about 38.27 to 38.58, and that would be that. Now, if I think about where we currently are, if I throw the fibs on here, move this over to our support level currently being found, you can see that the 1-to-1 puts us right bang in the middle of there at 38.39. Okay, so that's going to be my expectation. We come up here a little bit. Okay, then of course we're going to come back down. Let's say we do hit that 38.39. Then our expectation will be to come down to 36.56 at least. I say at least, but typically that's kind of what I would expect to see. So I put this in somewhere around here, around that kind of 36.56 towards the 36.14, and see how that kind of goes. With no overlapping structure, and not too fussed about what's going on there. It's a bit of a reset, if anything, and we'll see how it kind of goes. On a macro scale, though, if we come up into our daily, we're still below our 200 daily EMA, kind of sandwiched between the 50 and the 200 there. So until we cross this, I'm not overly confident in thinking, we're going straight to the moon or anything like that. I still think there's going to be a correction that can lead us down into new lower lows on ADA. There's no indication that we don't have to. And as I said earlier, right, to me, it looks like we are in a potential triple zigzag move, WXYXZ. At the moment, we kind of have a double zigzag. And if we do correct down, then it would be the final correction. You can't have more than 3 zigzag patterns stacked. So essentially, I do think if we do it to come down and we start forming out a zigzag pattern, then it's the last one, and then we are done with those lows under that structure. Of course, we can stay as a double zigzag, and we'll see how the formation comes on the retracement, because there's always going to be a retracement. You can't just go up in straight lines. And if we do not form a zigzag, or don't even form the beginning of a zigzag pattern, then I will be looking at this as the bottom, at least on the medium term, and we'll see a more of a progression upwards before we actually have any correction thereafter. So kind of keeping that in mind, it's pretty positive. Now, from our daily chart here, we are high on our stochastic, so that's a little bit of a warning, a little bit of a flag. If I take this off and throw on our RSIs, again, we have got concerns here. Specifically as we have lower highs being set on the price chart, and of course higher RSIs. That would be bearish divergence. Again, not what you want to be seeing if we're going into a bull market. Volume side has been decreasing. It has been decreasing since the 9th of January. We can quite clearly see that right in there. And again, we have more divergence here when we start thinking that the price is going up, but the volume is going down. Again, that is not a positive thing to be thinking about. So can you keep that in mind? The volumes are not backing it. There's not a lot of demand backing the moves when it comes to our daily chart here. Now, as we kind of scale this up into our weekly time frame, we do have bearish death cross potentially on the horizon here, the 50 and the 200 EMA. We have yet to hit the resistance line. You can see here we tested. This one fell just short. This one's currently just falling short. Death cross looming. I'm not confident thinking that this is going to hold up. We are overbought on our RSI, our stochastic RSI. Again, what we have here is lower highs on the price and higher highs on the stochastic RSI. So that's not positive. Again, we'll flip into the volume. The volume has been decreasing as we have been kind of moving down a little bit here. So that gives us some encouragement that this is a good, strong low with not much selling pressure. And volume did start to pick up again. But volume hasn't really peaked up above these previous levels that we were at up here. So until that happens, I'm not overly confident on this weekly time frame. At the moment, lower highs there in terms of that. And also volume right in here from the previous volume is decreasing as well. So really struggling to push up a little bit on the volume side. From an RSI point of view, I'm not too concerned on the weekly time frame. Just the stochastic looks like it needs to come on down. So I am expecting a correction, and we'll see if we start forming out a zigzag pattern. If we end up stacking a triple zigzag here, then yeah, we will be thinking, new lower lows. And if we do not start a zigzag, then actually, yeah, I would say let's think about more progression upwards before we kind of get too excited about being bearish on it all the time and all that kind of good stuff. So essentially, yeah, for ADA here, it's looking pretty good. We don't want to get too drowned out on the kind of smaller time frame stuff. Like, that's great to have an idea as to kind of where the immediate price action is going, but it's more important to keep an eye on those macros. Those macros are absolutely key when it comes to understanding where we actually are within our cycle. And all of that kind of stuff. So at the moment, looking very corrective, and we are looking for pulls to the downside, but we're going to see whether or not we get that last zigzag in here. And if we do, then then yeah, we'll be in a really good, strong position to say that this is a triple zigzag end. And from there, we can then start to talk about, progression upwards, because I do think that once we complete the triple zigzag, we have a potential for big swing movements to the upside. And of course, something that we were talking about a while ago, trying to talk about, where we think those swing positions are when it comes to many of these altcoins. They are absolutely flying at the moment, but we want to be really cautious in what is actually driving it. It seems to be the DXY more than anything else. There's a lack of volume. Other than retail investors coming in here, we aren't really seeing terribly too much. So I'm going to leave this video right there, guys. If you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out, guys. Linked in the description below. It's a fantastic community. Until the next one, have a fantastic day.